Okay, welcome back. One last thing we want to talk about with GUIs is we want to talk about how to let them let the user talk to us through the GUI, how we're going to get that user input. Now, um, you could use a scanner, but a scanner is going to be really ugly and not really match up because it's going to be down in the console and you got this pretty GUI up top. So let me show you two different ways you can get input. You can always get input with doing a JOptionPane, which is a pop-up. So let me show you. Right now I have this pop-up to show up when you press the Go button. And by the way, the Go button is that one down on the bottom right here. When I press it, it shows up, asks me a question, and I answer it. Now, the really strange thing about JOptionPane is it always thinks that their answer is a string. Always. No matter what they typed in, it thinks of it as a string. So what we may have to do is some magic to turn that string into a number. Now, I'm going to call this number R. I'm going to take, they typed this, it went into that string named ANS. Now, if I need to turn it into an integer, there is this magic trick called integer.parseInt. Capital I, whole word integer, .parseInt. That will take that string and turn it into a number. Now you've got this number, you can do whatever you want to with it. And just for fun, what's the name of that big panel in the middle? Canvas. I could say, instead of saying like color.red, here's our mission. Background. Our mission is to create our own color. And I think you've done this before with Pac-Man. You can create your own color if you have three numbers. You need to tell this color how red to be, how green to be, and how blue to be. Right now I've only got one number, so I'm going to tell it to be that red, green, and blue. But just to show you that you can use that number, let's say when I press this, this pops up. I'm going to say 125. This is going to be a shade of gray. Gorgeous. But the important thing is you've got to do this magic trick before you can use the number as a number because it thinks it's a word. So you have to take that and make it into an actual number. You can also, by the way, and you may need to do this in your project, you could do the same thing with a double. If you need that thing to act like a double, you could say double.parseDouble, and that would turn it into a double data type. Okay, and just to really make that thing complete, you could do three different things. I'm going to ask for three numbers: the red, the green, the blue. I'm going to convert into three different numbers. Then I could use those three numbers, and I could say when I press this, I want it to be very red, not very green, and maxed out blue. And oh, look at that, gorgeous. Okay, now, but if you don't like the pop-ups, you don't have to use those pop-ups. And that's fine. Instead of JOptionPane, you can actually use these JTextFields. So we got these JTextFields in the bottom: red field, green field, blue field. Let me show them to you in case you didn't notice them. Red field, green field, blue field. So now, don't type words in there when we're going to try to turn them into numbers. That'll make the whole thing throw up, but that's all right. And we can do this. We could say, I'm going to talk to the red field, and I just want to say, get me whatever text is in there. Whatever text is in that field would make me happy. Same thing with the green field. And, whoops, the blue field. Now the same trick applies. You will have to, whatever text you get out of there, it thinks it is a word. It thinks it is text. And so you're going to have to do a little conversion and magic it into an int or a double if you need it to be a double, and magic. I've got three numbers. Now this is a little cleaner or less flashy because there's no pop-ups, but now it's important to realize that you're not going to be getting that text until they've pressed that button. So that, I mean, you could have whatever you want to in there, but all that is just sitting there until they press that button. Once they press that button, it will read in those three things, turn them into numbers, turn it into a color. That's not very pretty. There's our Easter egg purple. But yeah, so then those things sit there. Oh, don't type anything bigger than 255, and that'll break it. Until they hit that number, that button. When they hit that button, it reads it in, and everything's happy. Now, one small flaw with this: if you were to type in "I love puppies," when it tries to turn "I love puppies" into a number, it doesn't know what to do with that, and it actually generates a runtime error, which we'll just pretend that they wouldn't. Who would type "I love puppies" in that field? I mean, come on, people. Obviously, it's supposed to be a number, so we won't worry about that too much. Now, one last thing, if you're trying to make things really pretty, when I created these fields, you can set their backgrounds. You saw the result of that. You could actually also set their foreground. That is the text color. So that would mean that the text color is white. You could also, if you're feeling really fancy, set their font. Tahoma, my favorite font. And then the size, the font size, and voila. So if you want to kind of personalize your GUI and make it as gorgeous as you want it to be, those are options. And again, it doesn't matter which way you want to do that input. If you would rather do the JOptionPane with the pop-ups, or if you'd rather have the fields there waiting for them to type the things in, that's an option as well. So you, with your iTunes GUI, you get to kind of go crazy and make it your own and personalize it. Have fun with that.